What's up, guys? UFC Cannonier vs. Rodrigues just went down at the UFC Apex. Don't even get me started on the Apex. It's just dead in there. All you hear is coaches. Sure, you can hear the punches more, which is cool, but I'd rather have fans. You know, if you have Fight of the Night at the Apex, it doesn't get the roar, you know? I don't ever want to see a fight at the Apex. There's no point. There's no point. All the good fights deserve fans, and that's all there is to it. But UFC Rodrigues Cannonier, it was alright. It was just okay. So we got a heavyweight, Johnny Walker's brother. He did good. He won with the heel hook in like a couple minutes. I think he's got like 2 fights in the UFC, 3 fights in the UFC. Either way, he fights different than Johnny Walker. He's not all unorthodox and jumping all over the place. This is his second heel hook win. But heel hooks don't happen in MMA because you just get punched in the face most of the time. All the leg locks. Yeah, Johnny Walker's brother did good. He reaped the knee, isolated the leg, and he's cranked on the heel for the heel hook. And you got to tap to that or else you'll rip your whole knee apart. So pretty impressive to have 2 heel hook wins, because that's hard to do in MMA. Then we had Elijah Smith versus Vince Morales. Elijah Smith is still new, still green. Good fight, though. A lot of punches, a lot of kicks, a lot of fouls, but it was a good fight. Then we had Chaos Williams from Detroit fighting Gabriel Bonfim out of Brazil. Bonfim looked good. He just kept chopping at the leg kicks. He kept flattening the tires. Chaos Williams had no wheels, which gave him no power in his punches. He kept missing. Gabriel Bonfim put him to sleep with a nasty Darce choke. That's probably my favorite choke. I love that choke. The Darce choke, Anaconda choke. It's like a crank. It doesn't just stop the air. It's a crank and a choke at the same time. So, in that submission, he didn't even have a chance to tap. He went straight to sleep. And it took him like 30 seconds to wake up. Then we had Rafael Estevam versus Jesus Aguilar. Jesus Aguilar could have won this fight in my eyes. Terrible fight IQ. By the end of the second round, we get the picture. Aguilar needs to stay away from the ground with Rafael Estevam. And then Jesus Aguilar sticks to the game plan. He starts throwing a crazy amount of strikes at Rafael Estevam. Like Jesus Aguilar has me convinced he's going to get the knockout. He had to keep stopping himself from shooting a takedown and initiating the clinch. The commentators were screaming. I was screaming at the TV, like, don't get in the clinch. Don't grapple. You have to win by a finish. He was dominating him with the striking. It looked like he could have got a finish, but what does he do? He tries to take his back, slips off, and he falls to his guard. Fight was over from there in the 3rd round. He had no chance of winning. That was a shitty way to end the fight. I really wanted to see him end the fight, trying his best, throwing every strike you can. What else do we got? Rodolfo Vieira versus Andre Petroski. Or Petroski. So yeah, Andre Petroski, he beats a good grappler. Rodolfo Vieira, it's mostly a striking kickboxing fight. Then he calls out Bo Nickel. Bo Nickel responds and said, "The fans don't want me to fight cans anymore." I hope he has a good fight next. Middleweight's exciting right now. We're going to get to the main event in a second. But yeah, good middleweight win. He kind of looked like Mike Perry out there. He had blonde hair, though, for some reason. Good win. All right, then we had a doctor stoppage. So then we get to the co-main event. Calvin Kattar versus Yusuf Zalal. I figured Calvin Kattar would start like that. He hasn't fought really in 3 fights. Yusuf Zalal, I don't know him too much. He beat Calvin Kattar in a point fighting decision. Nothing to say about the fight except Calvin Kattar started a fight in round 3. He was all brakes, no gas. Not surprised. I don't know what Calvin Kattar does next, honestly. I have no idea. Now, in the 3rd round, everyone was talking shit about Yusuf Zalal because he was kind of just sprinting. He was kind of just running away. That was Calvin Kattar's best round. He was looking for the finish. He finally woke up. But this is why we should never have open scoring. I like it the way it is now, where you're not told what the scorecard is till the end of the fight. Because imagine fighters know that they're up 2-0. They're gonna fight just like Yusuf Zalal fought. I don't want to say he was running, but he wasn't fighting. He was just using footwork and moving away, and he wasn't fighting. I don't want to see fights like Yusuf Zalal in round 3. Kelvin Kattar, what happened? I think Max Holloway ruined him. I remember a couple years ago he had his awesome knockout against Jeremy Stevens through a crazy elbow. Then I think he fought Max, and that was the end of it. Max shut him out, and he never got his groove since. But I just want to talk about the main event. This was truly the main event. Fight of the night. Jared Cannonier shocked me. He had every disadvantage you could have except experience. He was smaller, even though he fought at heavyweight before. He was the smaller guy. He's fucking way older. He's 8 years older. He's 40. Gregory Rodrigues, Robocop, was sparring with Vieira. He had Gilbert Burns in his corner. Who else did he have in his corner? He had some badass fighters in his corner. He dropped Cannonier twice, I think, in round one. Round one, I thought it was over. Jared Cannonier's coming off 2 losses in a row. Robocop, Gregory Rodrigues, is killing him. He's got so much power. He looks like a heavyweight. And he was just dropping Jared Cannonier all over the place. So I thought round one, it was over. But damn, shout out Cannonier because he changed the whole fight. Round two, Gregory Rodrigues was exhausted. I don't know if he cuts too much weight. He probably just emptied the tank because he emptied the tank in round one. And that was a mistake when you fight 5 rounds. But Cannonier's fought 5 rounds way more than he has, and it showed. But Cannonier wasn't point fighting and having like a boring fight like he did against Izzy. He was putting fucking Robocop against the cage and throwing his own bombs. That's my favorite Cannonier fight I can remember. I know we all remember the Izzy fight, but this is my favorite Jared Cannonier fight. He looks, he super impressive to do that to Robocop. 40 years old, the guy looks like a fucking heavyweight that he's fighting. Yeah. Shocked. I'm shocked. The UFC really gave Gregory Rodrigues a huge shot. He wasn't even in the top 15. They wanted him to build a name off Cannonier. Cannonier shut that shit down. But that's kind of messing up plans. Like, who does Cannonier fight next? I think there's only 2 fights. 1, he can rematch Sean Strickland. That'd make the most sense. 2, Bo Nickel tweeted he's done fighting cans. UFC wants to feed contenders, low-ranked contenders to Cannonier. Bring it on. Anyway, that's the fight night. I'm done with the Apex. That place is dead. No energy. Get us out of the damn Apex. What's the next fight night? It's better not being a... No, it's not. Okay. Anyway, I'm out of here.